It's funny how one lie can grow legs faster than the truth. And it's terrifying how one kiss fake, staged, meaningless can brand itself into your skin like fire. The night it all started, New York was buzzing like it always does, neon bleeding into the Hudson, laughter spilling out of rooftop bars, and me, Alex Carter, just trying to survive another corporate circus. I hated company parties. Too much champagne, too many fake smiles, too many colleagues pretending we were family when we barely trusted each other with coffee orders. But this party was different, because Ethan Monroe, tall, magnetic, our company's golden boy, walked up to me, pulled me close, and whispered a sentence that would derail my entire life. "Pretend you're my boyfriend tonight." I choked on my drink. "Excuse me, what?" He leaned in, his cologne dizzying, his mouth brushing my ear. "Long story. My ex is here. I need cover. Just one night." One night. 2 words that sounded harmless, almost easy. But I should have known better. Nothing about Ethan Monroe had ever been easy. The thing about Ethan is he doesn't ask, he commands. He doesn't suggest, decides. And maybe that's why I said yes. Or maybe it was the way his eyes looked in that moment, pleading, raw, like the confident mask had cracked, and for once, he was the one drowning. So I nodded. And in the next second, his hand found mine, warm and certain, and the lie was born. We walked into the rooftop party like we were tethered together, his arms slung casually around my shoulders, my pulse thundering in my ears. Heads turned. Whispers rose. And then before I had time to prepare, Ethan kissed me. Not a brush. Not a joke. Not the kind of quick peck friends laugh off later. No. It was a kiss that silenced the crowd. A kiss that claimed. A kiss that set the city spinning under my feet. I told myself it was just for show. But the truth? My knees nearly buckled. "You could have warned me," I hissed the second our lips parted. Our colleagues clapping and cheering like they just witnessed a proposal. Ethan grinned, that dangerous grin, the one that always got him what he wanted. "What's the point of acting if it doesn't look real?" Real. The word echoed inside me like a warning siren. Because in that second, with the skyline glowing behind him, his breath still warm on my lips, it had felt real. The party blurred into flashes of laughter, questions, congratulations. Someone joked about wedding bells. Someone else asked how long we'd been hiding it. Ethan answered smoothly, his lies flowing like fine wine. And I just stood there trying to remember how to breathe. Hours later, after the last champagne glass had clinked and the rooftop had emptied, we found ourselves alone under the cold New York sky. "You're insane," I told him. "Maybe," he said, eyes locked on mine. "But you were perfect tonight." I wanted to be angry. I wanted to shove him away and remind him this wasn't a game. But instead, I felt something else, something terrifying. The truth sneaking in through the cracks of our performance. Because the city might have believed the lie, but part of me already wanted it to be true. The next morning, my phone exploded. Texts, calls, emails, gossip threads. Apparently, someone had snapped a photo of our kiss. By sunrise, it had gone viral across the company Slack, then across LinkedIn, then God help me, even Instagram. New York loves a scandal. And suddenly, Alex Carter, the quiet analyst who barely spoke in meetings, had become half of the office's favorite new power couple. By noon, my boss congratulated me. By 2, HR sent an email about relationship disclosure policies. By 5, my mother called. "Alex, honey, why didn't you tell me? He's handsome." I wanted to crawl into a hole. Instead, I called Ethan. "We need to talk." He showed up at my apartment like he owned the place, jeans, leather jacket, that stupid half smile that made people forgive him for everything. "You've ruined my life," I told him. "You're welcome," he said, tossing himself onto my couch like this was a romantic comedy. "This isn't funny, Ethan. People think we're actually dating." His expression shifted softer, almost guilty. "I know. I didn't plan for it to spiral like this." "Then what's your brilliant plan now?" He hesitated. For the first time, he didn't have a perfect answer. And that scared me more than anything. The weeks that followed were chaos. We became the company's favorite rumor mill. Invitations to double dates, knowing winks in the elevator, even an office betting pool on when Ethan would propose. And the worst part? Ethan leaned into it. He'd hold my hand at lunch, brush my shoulder in meetings, whisper jokes that made me laugh when I swore I wouldn't. It was supposed to be fake, just a role I was playing. But somewhere between the staged smiles and the whispered confessions, the line blurred. I found myself memorizing the curve of his grin, the way his voice softened when he said my name, the way he touched me like I was more than just his shield from an ex. And every night, lying awake in my tiny apartment, I hated myself for wanting it to be real. But then the storm hit, because lies don't stay pretty forever. And someone who knew the truth was about to tear ours apart. I always thought the cruelest part of lies was the collapse, the moment when truth finally claws its way to the surface. But I was wrong. The cruelest part was realizing I didn't want the lie to end. The storm came on a Tuesday afternoon. A leaked email, an anonymous tip, a whisper in the boardroom. Suddenly the story everyone adored unraveled like cheap thread. Someone accused us of faking it. Someone demanded proof. Someone hinted that Ethan's rise in the company wasn't talent but manipulation. And in the center of it all, by the time I walked into the office, eyes burned into me like knives. Laughter wasn't laughter anymore. Every smile was sharp. Every whisper poison. "Alex," my boss said, voice clipped, "we need to talk." The meeting was brutal. Questions about professionalism. Accusations of deceit. My career, the one thing I'd built carefully, quietly dangling by a thread. When I left the conference room, Ethan was waiting in the hallway. His face was unreadable, that perfect mask back in place. "They think we lied," I whispered, my voice shaking. He met my eyes, steady, unwavering. "We did." The words landed like glass shattering inside me. I wanted him to fight, to deny, to reach for me. But he didn't. Not there. Not in that sterile hallway with the world watching. That night, I sat in my apartment, blinds closed, phone buzzing with messages I couldn't face. And for the first time, I wondered if I was just another role Ethan had cast. A shield. A prop. Disposable once the curtain fell. The knock on my door didn't come until midnight. "Alex, open up." His voice was rough, almost desperate. I almost didn't. I almost let him stand there in the rain. But something inside mesomething stubborn and stupid turned the lock. He stepped inside, soaked, eyes fierce. "You think I used you," he said. "Didn't you?" My voice cracked. He flinched. At first, yes. Silence. It should have been the end. But then he stepped closer, his breath uneven, his mask gone. But somewhere between that rooftop and tonight, it stopped being fake. I don't know when. I don't know how. But Alexei can't breathe without you. I wanted to hate him. I wanted to throw every broken piece of myself in his face. But instead, tears burned hot, and the truth tumbled out before I could stop it. "Do you have any idea what it's like, Ethan? To be the quiet one. To finally taste something that feels real, only to find out it started as a lie." His hand trembled as it reached for mine. "Then let me prove it's not a lie anymore." What followed wasn't clean. It wasn't the kind of romance you see in movies, with swelling violins and fireworks overhead. It was messy. It was arguments at 2 a.m., confessions tangled in anger, apologies whispered into the dark. It was rebuilding trust brick by fragile brick. The company scandal passed, as scandals always do. The world moved on to its next obsession. But for us, the world had already shifted forever. Weeks later, we found ourselves back on that rooftop. Same city lights, same skyline. Different hearts. Ethan stood beside me, hands shoved in his pockets, eyes searching mine. "Remember that first night?" he asked, voice quiet. As if I could forget. He smiled faintly. "I kissed you because I wanted it to look real. But the truth? I think I kissed you because I already wanted it to be real." My chest tightened. "And now." The word hung between us, heavy and fragile. He stepped closer, closing the distance, his forehead brushing mine. "Now I don't care if the city believes us. I just need you to." And God help me did. The kiss this time wasn't staged. It wasn't for an audience. It wasn't armor. It was everything I had been afraid to want, and everything I couldn't deny anymore. Soft, fierce, final. The city buzzed beneath us, lights glittering like 1,000 stars. But in that moment it was just us. Just Ethan. Just Alex. No lies. No masks. Months later, people still whispered. Some still asked questions. Some still speculated. But when Ethan's hand slipped into mine on the subway, when his laughter filled my apartment, when he kissed me goodnight with that same fire, I stopped caring. Because love, I realized, isn't about convincing the world. It's about finding the one person who makes the world fade until all that's left is truth. And for me, that truth was Ethan. If one lie could burn my life down, then one love rebuilt it. And this timite was real. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.